It's about 7:30 in the morning. It's the 16th of April 2015, and I'm at a friend's house in West London en route to Austria, where I'm going to be doing a keynote lecture tonight to the Austrian Astrological Society. Well, looking forward to that. It's going to be an update on current status of astrology in the modern world. So I've had to do a bit of research on where we are now compared to where we were a few decades ago. It's brought up some fascinating stuff, particularly the study of politics. 30, 40, 50, even 100 years ago, or 90 years ago, Charles Carter was writing the political astrology manuals for Times, and he was saying then that the nature of politics is a fickle beast, but it won't always be forever. And now, here we are, in the 21st century, the Uranus-Pluto square is passing, has almost completely passed, and we find ourselves in a situation where the old structures and the old patterns no longer apply. When 100 years ago, even 80 years ago, we needed people like politicians and priests to care for us, to nurture us, to cater for our social needs. But now we don't. We are faced with a ridiculous situation now where in every country of the world you have, in all alleged democratic countries of the world, we have person A saying vote for me and we'll do it this way, and person B saying no, don't vote for them, vote for me and we'll do it this way. The Uranus-Pluto square. Uranus in Aries has really propagated the rights of the individual. Pluto in Capricorn is very much about transforming the nature of political and economic structure. Now that the square is actually fading away, although it's still around for another year or so, but it's fading now, it does seem that there is some type of revolution going on in terms of consciousness around the way we bring structure into our lives. The nature of politics, for example, can no longer continue to be the same banal system where there is such a limited amount of choice. Surely the need for a global system of proportional representation is a far more equal way of catering to the planetary need. And if proportional representation were brought in, then we would see a much more equal share of power, of government and of resources worldwide. Chances of proportional representation happening at any time in the next 2 or 3 years? Below zero, I would have thought, because it would mean politicians giving up on a lot of their power. But to be honest, they seem to be becoming increasingly irrelevant. Perhaps this is the start of Saturn in Sagittarius properly. I thought that Saturn in Sagittarius would bring the kind of restructuring and reorganising of religion as much as politics, but it seems to be making people aware more and more of the redundancy and ineffectiveness of so-called elected leaders. And I question whether the need for partisan politics is still a relevant part of today's society. I question whether we need people to say, vote for us and we'll do it this way or that way. It may be premature, and I may be 20 years ahead of my time here, but we have artificial intelligence, we have a way of governing the planet via the internet that doesn't depend on party politics or religious ties or racial or gender stereotypes. As I said a few months ago, any species from an outer galaxy that's viewing Earth now is going to see all the squabbling, all the internecine fighting that's happening about gender and religion and race and political creed. But they would put us in embargo. It's about time we realise we're all part of the same species. We all share a similar DNA. And we're all moving forward into the same future. So we either do that together or we don't. And if we don't, then I don't hold that much hope for the future of a cohesive human race. I think we're still on the point of a consciousness leap. And I expect this to become more and more evident over the coming months and couple of years. More on this one later. Catch you later. Bye.